and welcome to the very first episode of the Dark Glitter Sessions. This is a metal music show. I'm going to be talking about Atreyu, the heavy metal band that was at the Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3 on this episode. This is going to be a 4-part series because I'm going to be talking about all the bands that were involved with the Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3 Atlanta edition. Enjoy. So I'm going to be reading you all an article that I had written about the Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3. You can find this on Medium, and I'm hoping to get it published in a music magazine. We will keep our fingers crossed, but here goes. The Dark Glitter Sessions by Jaime Bennett, a love letter to metal music, the path that I have traveled and the story thus far. The Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3 Atlanta Edition. The following words on this page are not only my personal experience at the Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3 in the Atlanta area, but also a love letter to the metal bands that I had the honor of witnessing the artistry of that night. I was able to snag a VIP ticket to the event, and I was anticipating the nerves that were sure to follow leading up to the event. The biggest reason I wanted to attend the event was as follows: the band Motionless in White, as well as Black Veil Brides. But not only that, I am a journalist first and foremost. I wanted to bear witness to an epic event in the making. I will also cover the other two amazing bands present on the Trinity of Terror Tour, Ice Nine Kills as well as Atreyu, to fully understand the passion I have for the genre of music, or for this genre of music. I feel the need to let you, as the reader, know where my love for metal music began. I am a child of the 80s, so yes, I'm not in my 20s any longer. I grew up listening to bands such as Pantera, Rage Against the Machine, Nine Inch Nails, Smashing Pumpkins, Black Sabbath, Marilyn Manson, Slipknot, and so on and so forth. I believe you get my point. The love and passion that I gained for this music is what led to my degree in recording technologies and journalism. I became a radio DJ, and I made sure to play metal music over the airwaves. I tried to gain access to press passes for the Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3 event to no avail. However, that did not deter me from covering the event. Now for where my story and the passion I have for metal music began. The beginning of something dark and great. It all started with the movie The Crow. Just before the age of 14, I had rented the movie The Crow for a slumber party with some friends. I instantly fell in love with the dark content of the film as well as the soundtrack. I became hooked on metal music and anything horror or goth related. You may be asking yourself at this point, why or how? You see, I grew up in a very religious environment. Metal music or anything that was not understood by the older generation was considered to be evil or satanic. I grew up in a very religious atmosphere where I was taught that metal music was evil and it just conveyed messages from the devil. I grew up believing that for a long time, and I had bought it, making me steer clear from this genre of music until the movie The Crow was released. Metal music gave me a sense of freedom. Hearing it made me feel as if my generation's voice was finally being heard. Metal music, in my mind, is a rite of passage. It gives its fans a voice, a powerful voice that is finally being heard. I have come to the realization that people fear what they do not understand, nor do they want to understand it, making people spew untruths about something that they have not taken the time themselves to research or to understand. I believe that claiming to be a Christian and then ostracizing someone for being different, for dressing different, and listening to metal music is a far worse offense than being a true fan of the genre. I was never the type of girl who wore pink and played with dolls. I've always been an odd sort, and finally I had found my voice and freedom through metal music. Motionless in White. From the moment that I heard their song voices, I knew I had stumbled upon a band that could provide the soundtrack of my life. Motionless in White are one of those bands that had very humble beginnings and have earned every bit of fame and fortune they have in life. You see, that is not what this band is about, though. They are about so much more than being in the limelight. Their music is raw. It tells a story, and the story that their music has to tell is a very powerful one. When I say they had humble beginnings, I mean exactly that. The band was founded in the summer of 2004, and in 2005 they released their self-distributed demo. Take notice of the word self-distributed. Making it in the music industry is not for the faint of heart, and metal music is no exception. Motionless in White have clawed their way to get to where they are in the music industry, and I have nothing but respect for this band. They did not disappoint at the Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3 concert in the Atlanta area. I waited with bated breath for their arrival on the stage. From the first song to the last song of their set, I felt like I was part of something bigger than myself. And it is a night I will never forget. I will speak more in depth about all the band's sets later on in this article. Chris Motionless is the type of frontman that you take notice of. He towers in at 6'1", but his height has nothing to do with his powerful stage presence. He has the ability to draw the audience in and make them feel like part of the performance. Even if you don't get the chance to shake hands with Chris Motionless or get that coveted photo op, never fear, it will still be a night that you will never forget. Motionless in White is a band for the centuries, and they will keep outdoing themselves. What the band Motionless in White represents to me is vocal freedom, my voice being heard through their profound, impactful, lyrical genius. Attending this concert was more than just hearing some of my favorite Motionless in White songs being performed. This was my chance to finally breathe. Motionless in White's music holds a very powerful meaning for me, and although I may not want to admit this, I got all emotional seeing them live and in person, performing some of the songs that have gotten me through some pretty traumatic times in my life. I soak and take in every aspect of the concert. The most important part to me is actually feeling the music deep in my heart and soul. Motionless in White is a drug that I cannot get enough of. It is good for my heart and soul. I am officially addicted, and I cannot wait until the next epic event to unfold for this band. I am here for the ride as a loyal fan and artist myself. Ice 9 Kills. I hate to admit this, but I have to be honest here. I had never heard of this artistic horror metal band before the Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3. Please don't hate me for admitting that fact. Although I had never heard of them, their stage presence was quite different. They put on a show, and I can see why they have so many loyal fans. Their stage act and performance is one of pure horror artistry. Although it may be true I had never heard of them before this concert, I walked away at the end of the night having Ice 9 Kills performance securely embedded in my thoughts. Their set was like that of a horror movie production, and the audience got to be a part of the cast. This band was founded in the year 2000 by frontman Spencer Charnas and high school friend Jeremy Schwartz. The band had originally started with a band name Ice 9 and later transformed to Ice 9 Kills, which is a reference to a fictional substance found within the pages of Kurt Vonnegut's book Cat's Cradle. It is no wonder that this band gives off horror movie vibes. I myself, being a lover of horror movies and books, can truly appreciate this band's style and stage performance. They did not disappoint their fans and left the fans asking and begging for more. Atreyu. Imagine the thunder rolling in from a massive storm, and that will give you an idea of how the amazing powerhouse of the band entered the stage. They gave their fans as well as members of the audience an epic performance. I had only recently discovered Atreyu and was very much looking forward to seeing them perform live in person. They were the opening act of the night, leaving me with my jaw on the floor. I had to think to myself, if the first band of the night's performance is this epic, how will the others follow? From the very first song of Atreyu's set to the last song, they had the audience moving. A symphony of power is what I would call it. Atreyu's performance is something to behold, and I will not soon forget how my adrenaline raced with the rhythm of the drums. Their performance at the Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3 is what metal music is all about. A raw, emotion-provoking adrenaline rush, leaving their fans thirsting for more. Black Veil Brides. One of my goals of the night was to get a photo of Andy Black for my daughter. Let me be honest here. I'm a huge fan of Black Veil Brides as well. I have been and always will be a goth at heart. I have been a fan of this group since the band's early days and the song Knives and Pins. Andy used to go by the stage name of Andy Six and later wanted to be known as his birth name of Andy Biersack. He himself is not religious. However, he did grow up in a religious background. I don't usually like to pick and talk about just one song because more often than not, bands have numerous songs that I love. I was excited to witness them performing their song, The Fallen, as well as Scarlet Cross. But what really made my black goth heart happy is the nostalgia that came with them performing Knives and Pins. I was sad that their performance was cut very short by them having to stop because of an audience member getting injured. I, however, fully respect the band for caring about their fans and wanting to ensure that everything was okay and safety of their audience members. Andy has a powerful stage presence, and I was fully entranced by his singing. Seeing him live and in person gives you a whole new perspective on how talented this band truly is. I walked away at the end of the concert knowing good and well that I got my money's worth, and then some. Even though the Black Veil Bride set was cut short, if you ever get a chance to see this band live, please do so. So here is my take on the Trinity of Terror Tour Part 3 concert. Although I was upset by the bands having to pause their sets off and on because of the concert goers getting a little too rough with crowd surfing and knocking people out, you do have to have it in your mind that this is what you're signing up for when you attend a heavy metal concert or a metal concert of any kind, and you have floor tickets. It is going to get rough, and people do stand the possibility of getting hurt. However, when one of the performers on stage kindly asks for the crowd surfers to halt and take a break for the sake of the concert goers in the front row, I believe that they should heed what the artist is asking and have respect. Let everyone enjoy the show and take care of one another. I can understand and respect that mosh pitting and crowd surfing is a rite of passage for the youth. There's excitement in breaking free from the parents and holding your hands high above your head, letting the wave of hands carry you along for the ride. I was young once, and although I'm no longer a teenager or even in my 20s, I still get it. I understand the thrill and the adrenaline that is pumped into your veins at these events. I am and will always be a metalhead. And even though I'm older now and may have a different perspective than I used to, I feel as if the audience becomes one unit no matter what generation you were born into. These bands' music spans across generations. There was a grandfather and a granddaughter in attendance at this concert, and it did not seem to me that the grandfather was just there for the sake of his granddaughter, but that he himself was a fan of the music genre. It is like being on a totally different plane of existence. When attending a metal concert, I found myself being kind of sad after the fact because after having an epic night of amazing music, I did not want to go back to the mundane. Real life 101. You see, what these events accomplish is letting people escape the reality of the world, the depressing reality of the world, even if it is just for a few hours. These events have a way of making you feel better about your life. It is a way of life and a way for your brain stress to take a vacation, allowing your adrenaline to take the wheel and drive for a change. So thank you, Motionless in White, Black Veil Brides, Ice Nine Kills, and Atreyu. for giving me one of the most memorable nights of my life. I sign off for now with profound love from my black goth heart to yours. So, because Atreyu and Black Veil Brides and Motionless in White and Ice Nine Kills are all mainstream bands and their music is copyrighted, I could not play any of their music in this show, which is a shame, but I totally understand and I don't want to get dinged for playing copyrighted music. I will, however, still play the videos of these bands, and I will show photos that I had taken at the concert, video clips that I had done at the concert. You will just have to go to YouTube and look up their music and listen to their music there. So in this episode, I am talking about Atreyu, and let's go to the history of Atreyu. I'm looking this up as I am talking to you all, and that way we can learn together. This is a learning lesson, you all. Here we go. Atreyu, and this comes from Wikipedia. Not every episode is going to be like this. Sometimes I will be on the screen. I will be interviewing people. I'm hoping to get interviews with heavy metal bands. That would be awesome. I did an interview on the Jam Session Goes Underground with a heavy metal band called the Jim Harrelson Band. I got to do an interview with a couple of the awesome guys from that band. So check it out. It is on the Jam Session Goes Underground, which happens on the same day as this show. So when the Jam Session Goes Underground is not airing and I don't have a guest with that show, this show will be airing. And like I said, this is a 4-part series. I'm going to be talking about Atreyu on this episode, and then I'm going to be talking about Black Veil Brides, Ice Nine Kills, and Motionless in White. So here is all about Atreyu, and you can find this on wikipedia.org. Not to be confused with Atreyu, the character from the Neverending Story. Atreyu is an American metalcore band, and this is all in quotations, folks, from Yorba Linda, California. They were formed in 1998, and the band currently consists of, let me see when this article was updated, if it even tells me. Ooh, let's look at the bottom. Let's see. It was updated this year. So it was updated January 27th of 2023. So this information is current. It was formed in 1998. The band currently consists of clean vocalist Brandon Sawyer, guitarist Jan Jacobs, and Travis Miguel, bassist, and unclean vocalist Mark Porter McKnight, and drummer Kyle Rosa. The band they've released 8 studio albums, including these titles: Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses, which was released in 2002, The Curse, released in 2004, A Death Grip on Yesterday, released in 2006, and Lead Sales Paper Anchor, released in 2007, Congregation of the Damned, released in 2009, Long Live, 2015, In Our Wake, 2018, and Baptize in 2021. Here is the history of the band. Independent years, 1998 through 2000. It was originally named Retribution. The band changed their name to Atreyu after the character of the same name. From Michael End's fantasy book, The Neverending Story, which happens to be a personal favorite of mine. It could be metal, come on. The name change came because of a change of members and a progression in their music styling. In 1998, Atreyu released an independent 7-track EP titled Visions. The album was sold at their live performances. Their second release was a short 5-track EP titled Fractures in the Facade. Oh, goodness gracious. The Facade of Your Porcelain Beauty. I cannot talk, y'all. It has been a long week, and I know I say that every single time I have a show, but I have a day job. Please don't blame me for not being able to pronounce this stuff. Don't hold it against me. They're an incredible band. Go buy all of their merchandise. That's what I got to say about it. That album or EP was released by an underground label called Tribunal Records, and featured tracks that would be reworked for later releases. Atreyu signed with Victory Records in 2001, and their most critically acclaimed works would be to come from these releases. The lineup originally consisted of Alex Vartikazaz, sorry if I butchered that name, lead vocals, Dan Jacobs, lead guitarist, Travis Miguel, rhythm guitar, Kyle Stanley, bass guitar. I'm dreaming about fishing, I guess. Bass guitar. At the time of this lineup, they had no drummer until 1999. Isn't that interesting? When Ryan Sawyer invited his younger brother, Brandon Sawyer, to be the drummer for the group. That's interesting. That's awesome. They were signed to Victory Records. I'll get it out eventually. I'm sorry. In between 2001 and 2006. And in 2001, Atreyu signed with Victory Records, later releasing in 2002 their first studio album, Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses. Brandon Sawyer sang for the band as a second singer who would become more prolific in their later releases. However, for Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses, his parts were largely confined to choruses. Music videos were filmed for the singles Ain't Love Grand and Lip Gloss and Black. The later video found significant airplay on Headbangers Ball and Uranium in the fall of 2003. I have actually been on MTV2 and met the host, Jaime Joth, I believe is his last name. Oh gosh, I hope I'm not getting that wrong. The lead singer of Hatebreed, that's what you need to know. Awesome lead singer of Hatebreed. I actually met him, and I was on MTV2 for the Vines concert in New Orleans in 2004. So, yeah, there's that. So I've heard of Headbangers Ball. Awesome show, incredible show. And it was hosted by an incredible host. So that was released in fall of 2003, gaining Atreyu some of its initial mainstream attention. Kyle Stanley quit the band and was replaced first by Chris Thompson and then by Mark Porter McKnight in 2004. The band's second album, The Curse, was released in 2004, selling 450,000 copies. The band was then featured on the soundtrack to the film Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Hello, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. That's pretty awesome. With a cover of Bon Jovi's You Give Love a Bad Name. Atreyu was also featured on the soundtrack to Underworld Evolution, one of my personal favorites, with her portrait in black. Right Side of the Bed also appeared on Burnout 3, Takedown, a racing video game. Atreyu released its third studio album, A Death Grip on Yesterday, on March 28, 2006. The album peaked at number 9 on the Billboard 200 with sales of 69,000. The band gained further fame when the first single, X's and O's, appeared on the soundtrack to Madden NFL 07. The album was said to have a balance of Brandon Sawyer's melodic singing vocals, and I can't pronounce his last name, but I will try my best, Vartikazaz's aggressive screaming, and it was met with positive reviews. Signed to Hollywood Records in 2007 to 2009. In early 2007, Atreyu signed a record deal with Hollywood Records for America and an international deal with Roadrunner Records. With a new label, the band began to prepare its fourth studio album, Lead Sales Paper Anchor. A jigsaw puzzle was released on the band's website, as the goal was to put all the audio clips of the single Becoming the Bull into correct order, forming the whole song. Lead Sales Paper Anchor was released on August 28, 2007, and debuted at number 8 on the Billboard 200, with first week sales of 43,000 copies. The American release of the album had a bonus track, a cover of the song Epic by Faith No More, while the European and Australian bonus tracks was a cover of Clean Sheets by The Descendants. The album was received with mixed reviews and was a notable change in sound for the band. Atreyu toured in the United States on the Taste of Chaos 2008 tour, alongside bands such as Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine, and Bless the Fall, as well as some others. The band also toured with co-headliners Avenged Sevenfold and Bullet for My Valentine in Australia and New Zealand. They also played the United States Taste of Chaos tour, headlining with Story of the Year and As I Lay Dying. On April 22nd, 2008, Lead Sales Paper Anchor was re-released with new cover art, 2 bonus tracks, a DVD, and a digital booklet. From July to August 2008, Atreyu headlined the Revolution stage of Linkin Park's Project Revolution. Their set list consisted of 45 minutes of various songs. With them on the stage were 10 Years, Hawthorne Heights, Armor for Sleep, and Street Drum Corps. Atreyu was also a part of the KROQ FM Epicenter 09 show, where they did a meet and greet to benefit nonprofit organization Music Saves Lives. Congregation of the Damned and Covers of the Damned 2009 through 2010. Atreyu's 5th studio album, Congregation of the Damned, was released on October 27, 2009. The album, which was produced by Bob Marlette, who has worked with Ozzy Osbourne, and Airborne, and mixed by Rich Costy, who has worked with System of the Down, Rage Against the Machine, was said to be darker and heavier than the band's previous albums. According to the lead singer, Alex Vartakazaz, the record is a mix of everything we've ever done. For every song that's more melodic or rock-driven, there's a total shit kicker. And I think that's what makes us a well-rounded band, in quotations. Atreyu has also described the album to make more sense than the other ones because they finally realized what they are. Isn't that incredible? It's incredible. The band started a co-headlining tour with Hollywood Undead, Escape the Fate, and The Sleeping in October, and as a promotion of the album debut, songs like Bleeding is a Luxury at K-Rockathon 14 in New York State Fairgrounds, Syracuse, New York, and Gallows. Atreyu also promoted the album with 5 webisodes, released bi-weekly from September 1st to October 20th. Congregation of the Damned debuted at number 18 on the Billboard 200, selling 27,412 copies on its first week. Atreyu announced that they would be recording an EP covers of the Damned with tour mates Chiados, Bless the Fall, Endless Hallway, and Architects. It was to be released on October 12th, but was leaked on the internet on October 9th. Atreyu toured Australia in November 2010 with No Sleep Till Festival, playing most locations with Dropkick Murphys, Alkaline Trio, Megadeth, and many, many more. In December, along with Bring Me the Horizon, they supported Bullet for My Valentine across the United Kingdom. New projects and hiatus activities 2011 to 2013. In January 2011, vocalist Alex Vardakazaz confirmed in a short series of Twitter postings that the band was taking a break from touring and recording to recharge and focus on other parts of their lives. In this same Twitter posting, Vardakazaz also stated that he has been working on a new project with Bleeding Through vocalist Brandon Chapati. Hope I didn't butcher that. Called I Am War. Drummer and vocalist Brandon Sawyer's side project, Hell or High Water, formerly named the Black Cloud Collective, has recorded an album titled Begin Again, released on August 9th, 2011. Sawyer is solely the lead vocalist in this band, and this album does not feature the same metalcore elements as those of Atreyu, voicing a sound similar to bands such as Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace. The band uses only clean vocals. In December 2011, Travis McGill added his own endeavors to the list of Atreyu side projects with Fake Figures, and the release of the EP hailed the Sycophants. I can't pronounce that. Sorry. This project features an all-star lineup, which includes Miguel on guitar, Russ Martin, Hotwire, Robert Bradley, Scars of Tomorrow, and Justin Pointer. Heather Baker, who were both former members of Nightfall, a project that bassist Mark McKnight played in 2003 before joining Atreyu. As of 2012, Steve Ludwig joined Fake Figures as their new drummer, and for around 18 months between 2013 and 2014, Travis played as a touring guitarist with Trapped. On May 11, 2013, the band posted a statement asking their Facebook fans to repost their message, "If you want Atreyu to write a new song for your ears to bleed to," with a second statement explaining that they hope to return to a sound more reminiscent of their second studio album, The Curse. So, you can find all of this history on wikipedia.org about Atreyu, and it tells you about their albums, their music style and influences, but I think that you get the point. I'm sorry if I butchered some of the pronunciations. I'm sorry if I butchered some of the names. I mean, no disrespect. Atreyu is an amazing rock band, an amazing metalcore band, and they did not disappoint. They're incredible. If you ever get a chance to see them in concert, please do so. I'm going to insert some of the photos that I took of Atreyu. I didn't get too many photos, to be honest. We were on the floor. We were in the general audience. And you have to expect there's going to be crowd surfing and there's going to be mosh pitting. And it's kind of hard to videotape and take quality photos when you're making sure that you're not going to get kicked in the head or get knocked down. I mean, come on. But I will insert what I can while I'm talking about Atreyu. But like I said, they did not disappoint. They're an incredible band. I enjoyed every minute of their set. It was just, oh my gosh, epic. Absolutely epic. I had never heard of the band before I went to the concert. Well, I heard of them slightly before I went to the concert because one of my friends went to the same concert and she told me about them. And then I looked them up and I just fell in love with their music. They're incredible. You need to do yourself a favor and go see them in concert because you will not be disappointed. They are an incredible band. And the name Atreyu doesn't hurt either. I'm biased. That's a great movie. But anyhow, awesome band. Check them out. I absolutely enjoyed every minute of the Trinity of Terror Tour. Even though I had almost gotten kicked in the face by a shoe, I had crowd surfing over me constantly. I was getting knocked over, but it's a metal concert. You expected these things. It happens. I enjoyed every moment of it. It was incredible. And and I will talk more about the epic moments on the next parts in this series. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dark Glitter Sessions. Part 2 will be coming up next time, and I'll be talking about Black Veil Brides. Until next time, keep your